Typhoon 09W BAVI, number 11. 6 p.m. Sunday, August 23, Japan/Korea time. BAVI has been upgraded to a Category 1 equivalent typhoon by Joint Typhoon Warning Center, the third typhoon of the Northwest Pacific's 2020 season. Its forecast track still keeps BAVI well away from land masses, and even further west of the Korean peninsula than reported earlier, but with its stronger quadrants still facing those locales. At 3 p.m. BAVI was 630 miles south-southwest of Naval Base Shini, South Korea, and 213 miles west of Kadena Air Base, Okinawa. Its track has lurched northeast at 7 miles per hour, packing 75 mile per hour sustained winds and 92 mile per hour gusts at storm center. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3, while Sasebo Naval Base in southwestern Japan remains in storm watch. If BAVI remains on its present heading, JTWC forecasts it to keep heading northeast, passing 164 miles northwest of Kadena at 6 a.m. Monday as it intensifies to 86 mile per hour sustained winds and 104 mile per hour gusts. That's at storm center. That's the good news. The bad news is that BAVI's east quadrants, the worst of the four, would still be facing Okinawa. Hence why the gusts have begun and rain, heavy at times, has begun falling. Lightning too. Please be safe out there. Here is the updated wind forecast timeline for Okinawa, courtesy of Kadena's 18th Wing Weather Flight, onset of 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, 3 a.m. Monday. Peak 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, 45 knot, 52 mile per hour, gusts for Okinawa, 8 a.m. Monday. Kadena can expect peak 30 knot, 35 mile per hour, sustained winds and 40 knot, 46 mile per hour, gusts. Winds subsiding below 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained, 9 p.m. Monday. Weather Flight also forecast 2 to 4 inches of rain associated with BAVI. Once past Okinawa, BAVI remains forecast to linger for another day or so, then begin tracking north-northwest, peaking at 115 mile per hour sustained winds and 140 mile per hour gusts at mid-afternoon Tuesday, still well away from any land masses. JTWC projects BAVI to pass 282 miles west of Sasebo at mid-morning Wednesday. Sasebo's extended weather forecast calls for winds to pick up starting Wednesday, peaking southerly at 46 to 52 mile per hour sustained with 69 mile per hour gusts at 1 a.m. Thursday, then subsiding. BAVI is then forecast to move straight north, skirting Korea's west coast, with the bases along the peninsula's west coast just outside JTWC's forecast 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, wind bands. Keep in mind, though, those east quadrants, they would be facing Korea, as Lingling did last September when it created such havoc on peninsula, and Korea certainly has had enough rain during a record-breaking monsoon season. JTWC forecasts BAVI to pass 101 miles west of Kunsan Air Base and 121 miles west of Osan Air Base, Camp Humphreys and Yongsan Garrison between 7 p.m. Wednesday and 1 a.m. Thursday, still packing 110 mile per hour sustained winds and 127 mile per hour gusts at CENT. JTWC still reports a spread among model solutions, 164 miles 3 days out, increasing to 405 miles 4 days out. Model track guidance and ACHEM WF and GFS forecast ensembles show a similar split. Despite BAVI starting to form into a fairly powerful beast, it's still a young storm. Much can still change. Stay tuned. 1:30 p.m. Sunday, August 23, Japan/Korea time. The news continues to improve for Okinawa and South Korea, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center's updated forecast track for tropical storm BAVI. At 9 a.m. BAVI was 247 miles west of Kadena Air Base, crawling north at 6 miles per hour and had strengthened slightly to 63 mile per hour sustained winds and 81 mile per hour gusts at center. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3, while Sasebo Naval Base in southwestern Japan remains in storm watch. If BAVI continues on its present heading, JTWC forecasts it to pass even further west of all locales than previously reported. That's the good news. The bad news is that BAVI's east quadrants, typically the stronger of the four, would be facing all locales. Thus, each should still get a fair measure of BAVI's effects, though not its full fury. Closest point of approach to Kadena is now 166 miles northwest at 8 a.m. Monday. It's at that point that JTWC forecasts BAVI to reach Category 1 equivalent typhoon strength, though Okinawa is forecast to be just outside the 34 knot, 39 mile per hour, wind band. Here is the latest wind forecast timeline for Okinawa, courtesy of Kadena's 18th Wing Weather Flight, onset of 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, 8 a.m. Monday. Peak 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds and 40 knot, 46 mile per hour, gusts for Kadena 45 knot, 52 mile per hour, gusts elsewhere, 8 a.m. Monday. Winds subsiding below 35 knots, 40 mile per hour, sustained, 9 p.m. Monday. Weather flight also forecast between 2 to 4 inches of rain associated with BAVI. BAVI is then forecast to curve due north, passing 278 miles west of Sasebo at 1 p.m. Wednesday, then peaking at 115 mile per hour sustained winds and 140 mile per hour gusts while still well offshore south of the Korean peninsula. As it moves over the cooler waters of the Yellow Sea, West Sea, BAVI is forecast to gradually weaken, passing 97 miles west of Kunsan Air Base and 110 miles west of Osan Air Base, Camp Humphreys and Yongsan Garrison between midnight Wednesday and 5 a.m. Thursday. It might yet be packing typhoon force winds, but at storm center. Again, the stronger east quadrants would be facing peninsula, so it might get a good measure of effects, perhaps more rain for a Korea that's already seen a record monsoon season, but not BAVI's full fury. Model track guidance and the ICMWF, GFS and CMC forecast ensembles continue to show a split among solutions, with JTWC reporting a 253-mile spread among solutions 4 days out. Still much room and time for things to change. Stay tuned. 7:15 a.m. Sunday, August 23 Japan time. Here is the latest wind forecast timeline for Tropical Storm BAVI for Okinawa, courtesy of Kadena Air Base's 18th Wing Weather Flight. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. BAVI is forecast to pass 146 miles northwest of Kadena at 10 a.m. Monday, onset of 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, 9 p.m. Sunday. Onset of 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, destructive winds, not forecast to occur. Peak 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, 40 knot, 46 mile per hour, gusts for Kadena, 45 knot, 52 mile per hour, gusts elsewhere, 10 a.m. Monday. Winds diminishing below 35 knots, 40 miles per hour, sustained, 9 p.m. Monday. Weather flight also forecast between 2 to 4 inches of rain associated with BAVI. 6:40 a.m. Sunday, August 23, Japan/Korea time. Tropical storm BAVI's forecast track has shifted west, further away from Okinawa. Joint Typhoon Warning Center's latest update indicates that BAVI could skim Korea's west coast, instead of making landfall over the peninsula. At 3 a.m. BAVI was 259 miles west of Kadena Air Base, moving north at 6 miles per hour and holding steady at 58 mile per hour sustained winds and 75 mile per hour gusts. U.S. bases remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3 and Sasebo Naval Base in southwestern Japan, in Storm Watch. JTWC projects BAVI to pass 146 miles northwest of Kadena at 10 a.m. Monday, packing Category 1 equivalent 92 mile per hour sustained winds and 115 mile per hour gusts. But that's at storm center. Okinawa appears to be at the edge of JTWC's forecast 34 knot, 39 mile per hour, wind band. Thus, the island could be spared the bulk of BAVI's main fury. Kadena's extended forecast calls for light to moderate showers through Monday morning, increasing to 80 to 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms Monday afternoon through Thursday, with winds peaking southerly at 33 mile per hour sustained and gusts up to 52 miles per hour Monday afternoon. Updated wind forecast timeline for Okinawa to be posted when it becomes available. Long-term BAVI is forecast to move northeast past Okinawa, then turn north heading early Thursday morning into the Yellow Sea, West Sea, near Korea's west coast as a Category 1 equivalent typhoon. That's a change from previous forecasts that had BAVI ramming ashore along Korea's southwest coast. Still, BAVI's east quadrants, typically the worst of the four, would be facing Korea's west coast in that scenario. JTWC now projects BAVI to pass 83 miles west of Kunsan Air Base and 106 miles west of Camp Humphreys, Osan Air Base and Yongsan Garrison between midnight Wednesday and 6 a.m. Thursday. Model track guidance and the ICMWF and GFS forecast ensemble still indicate a spread among solutions. JTWC reports a 333-mile spread in solutions 4 days out. Much can still change, as it already has overnight. Stay tuned. 11:50 p.m. Saturday, August 22, Japan/Korea time. Tropical storm BAVI has strengthened slightly and remains forecast to become a typhoon at mid-afternoon Sunday, then pass a good distance northwest of Okinawa around mid-morning Monday. At 9 p.m. BAVI was 262 miles west-southwest of Kadena Air Base and had strengthened to 58 mile per hour sustained winds and 75 mile per hour gusts at center. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. Sasebo Naval Base in southwestern Japan has entered storm watch. If BAVI continues on its current course, Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecasts it to pass 120 miles northwest of Kadena at about 8 a.m. Monday, packing 98 mile per hour sustained winds and 121 mile per hour gusts. But that's at storm center. JTWC projects Okinawa to be right at the edge of its forecast 34-knot, 39-mile-per-hour, wind band. And since it's projected to pass west of Okinawa, BAVI's east quadrants, the stronger of the four, would be facing the island. An updated wind forecast timeline should be available early Sunday morning. Going by the latest timeline, posted earlier Saturday evening, destructive 58-mile-per-hour winds are not forecast for Okinawa at this time. Long-term, Korea remains in the crosshairs for a midweek rendezvous with BAVI, should it remain on its present heading. JTWC projects BAVI to peak at 121-mile-per-hour sustained winds and 150-mile-per-hour gusts while still well south of Korea at mid-evening Tuesday. It should still be packing 104-mile-per-hour sustained winds and 127-mile-per-hour gusts at mid-evening Wednesday, when JTWC forecasts BAVI to make landfall over southwestern Korea. Forecast closest points of approach in Korea are 31 miles east of Kunsan Air Base, 15 miles east of Camp Humphreys, 17 miles east of Osan Air Base and 19 miles east of Yongsan Garrison between 3 and 9 a.m. Thursday. BAVI should pass 163 miles west of Sasebo at 5 p.m. Wednesday. Model guidance and the ACEM-WF, GFS and CMC forecast ensemble still shows a spread among solutions. JTWC projects a spread of 143 miles 2 days out and as much as 620 miles 5 days out. More should be known in the coming hours and days. Stay tuned. 7:15 p.m. Saturday, August 22nd, Japan time. Here is the latest wind forecast timeline for Tropical Storm BAVI regarding Okinawa, courtesy of Kadena Air Base's 18th Wing Weather Flight. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. BAVI is forecast by Joint Typhoon Warning Center to pass 125 miles northwest of Kadena at 11 a.m. Monday, onset of 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, midnight Sunday. Onset of 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, destructive winds, not forecast at this time. Peak 40 knot, 46 mile per hour, sustained winds, 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, gusts for Kadena, 55 knot, 63 mile per hour, gusts elsewhere, 11 a.m. Monday. Winds diminishing below 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained, 3 p.m. Tuesday. BAVI is forecast to reach typhoon strength by Sunday afternoon, the weather flight reports. Once it does, it is expected to slow down and remain with 200 miles of Okinawa until perhaps Wednesday. Weather flight also forecasts between 4 to 6 inches of rain associated with BAVI starting late Saturday evening, though some showers have already begun falling at Camp Foster. Stay tuned. 6 p.m. Saturday, August 22 Japan time. Tropical storm BAVI's forecast track has edged a tad closer to Okinawa, but still far enough away that the island should be spared the worst of BAVI's fury, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center's latest update. At 3 p.m. BAVI was 324 miles west-southwest of Kadena Air Base and had picked up forward speed moving north-northeast at 11 miles per hour and had strengthened to 52 mile per hour sustained winds and 63 mile per hour gusts at Storm Center. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. If BAVI remains on its present heading, JTWC forecasts it to reach Category 1 equivalent intensity at mid-afternoon Sunday, passing 125 miles northwest of Kadena at 11 a.m. Monday at Category 1 or 2 equivalent intensity. But that's at Storm Center. While a good distance away, Okinawa would be within JTWC's forecast 34 knot, 39 mile per hour, wind bands, with the east quadrants, typically the stronger of the four in a typhoon, facing Okinawa. Kadena's extended weather forecast calls for an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms from Sunday afternoon into Wednesday, with winds peaking Monday afternoon at 47 mile per hour sustained and gusts as high as 76 miles per hour. An updated wind forecast timeline from Kadena's 18th Wing Weather Flight will be posted as soon as available. As it moves north and out of the Okinawa area, BAVI is forecast to peak at 115 mile per hour sustained winds and 140 mile per hour gusts at mid-afternoon Tuesday, Category 3 equivalent intensity, still well south of the Korean peninsula. JTWC forecasts BAVI to pass 161 miles west of Sasebo Naval Base in southwestern Japan, right on the edge of the 34-knot wind band, as it approaches the southwest coast of Korea. It's early yet, and a lot can change, but if BAVI continues moving as forecast, it's due to retain at least Category 2 equivalent strength as it moves ashore, then weakening rapidly as it interacts with Korea's rugged terrain. JTWC forecasts BAVI to pass 41 miles east of Kunsan Air Base, 29 miles east of Camp Humphreys and Osan Air Base and 33 miles east of Yongsan Garrison between 3 and 10 a.m. Thursday, still either as a Category 1 equivalent typhoon or a severe tropical storm. There remains a good deal of spread among model solutions, About 150 miles 2 days out and about 265 5 days out, according to JTWC. Much can change. This is still a very young storm. Stay tuned. 1:15 p.m. Saturday, August 22nd, Japan time. Here is the latest wind forecast timeline for Tropical Storm BAVI, courtesy of Kadena Air Base's 18th Wing Weather Flight. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. Onset of 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, midnight Sunday. Onset of 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, destructive wind, not forecast at this time. Peak 40 knot, 46 mile per hour, sustained winds, 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, gusts, 10 a.m. Monday. Winds subsiding below 35 knots, 40 mile per hour, sustained, midnight Monday. Weather flight forecast between 4 to 6 inches of rain associated with BAVI. Noon Saturday, August 22 Japan/Korea time. 09W has been upgraded to a tropical storm by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and has been named BAVI, for a mountain chain in Vietnam. At 9 a.m. BAVI was 381 miles west-southwest of Kadena Air Base, Okinawa, and had slowed somewhat north-northeast at 7 miles per hour, and had strengthened to 40 mile per hour sustained winds and 52 mile per hour gusts at center. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. Updated wind forecast timeline will be posted when available. If BAVI remains on its current heading, JTWC forecasts it to curve northeast toward Okinawa, passing closer than previously projected, 135 miles northwest at 10 a.m. Monday, packing 81 mile per hour sustained winds and 98 mile per hour gusts at storm cent. While still a relatively good distance, Okinawa should be just inside BAVI's JTWC forecast 34 knot, 39 mile per hour, wind bands. And the east quadrants, the stronger ones, would be facing Okinawa. Long term, it still doesn't look good for Korea by midweek. JTWC projects BAVI to peak at Category 3 equivalent 121 mile per hour sustained winds and 150 mile per hour gusts at mid-morning Wednesday, making landfall over Korea's southwest coast by evening, passing 40 miles east of Yongsan Garrison at mid-morning Thursday, still packing 92 mile per hour sustained winds and 115 mile per hour gusts. Model solutions remain split, ICMWF depicting BAVI tracking well west of Okinawa and GFS favoring a track closer to the island. More to come. Stay tuned. 8:30 a.m. Saturday, August 22nd, Japan/Korea time. While the news gets better for Okinawa regarding forecast destructive winds, it's not looking good for the Korean peninsula. At 3 a.m., Tropical Depression 09W was 421 miles southwest of Kadena Air Base, moving north at 12 miles per hour and holding steady at 29 mile per hour sustained winds and 40 mile per hour gusts at center. If 09W remains on its present heading, Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecasts it to pass 165 miles west-northwest of Kadena at 9 a.m. Sunday. Further away, but still close enough to make for a blustery beginning of next week. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. Here is the updated wind forecast timeline courtesy of Kadena's 18th Wing Weather Flight, onset of 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, 2 a.m. Monday. Onset of 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, destructive winds, not forecast at this time. Peak 40 knot, 46 mile per hour, sustained winds, 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, gusts for Kadena 45 knot, 52 mile per hour, sustained winds, 55 knot, 63 mile per hour, gusts elsewhere on island, 9 a.m. Monday. Winds subsiding below 35 knots, 40 mile per hour, sustained, 7 p.m. Tuesday. Reminder that 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds meet the criteria for Ker 1C, caution, and 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, destructive winds for Ker 1E, emergency. Weather flight forecast between 4 to 6 inches of rain associated with 09W. There remains a spread among model solutions, 92 miles 2 days out and 150 miles 3 days out, according to JTWC. 09W's forecast track could change, could come closer, could push further away. It's early yet in the life of a young storm. While the news gets somewhat better for Okinawa, it's not the case for the Korean peninsula. If 09W intensifies as forecast and remains on its present heading, it's due to peak at 121 mile per hour sustained winds and 150 mile per hour gusts early Wednesday morning, still well south of peninsula late Wednesday. It's then forecast to ram ashore over Korea's south coast and come within 30 miles of Yongsan Garrison in Seoul early Thursday morning, still packing 104 mile per hour sustained winds and 127 mile per hour gusts. This could get rough for a Korean peninsula that has already seen a record monsoon season. Stay tuned. Midnight Friday, August 21st, Japan time. say hello to the 9th numbered cyclone of the Northwest Pacific's 2020 season. And with the first warning from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center on Tropical Depression 09W, the picture regarding Okinawa is coming into better focus. At 9 p.m. Friday, 09W is 470 miles southwest of Kadena Air Base, moving north at 12 miles per hour with 29 mile per hour sustained winds and 40 mile per hour gusts at center. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. Wind forecast timeline for Okinawa remains the same as previously posted, and should be updated about 8 a.m. Saturday. If 09W remains on its current course, JTWC projects it to remain fairly weak as it skirts the east coast of Taiwan. It's then due to curve northeast, away from land and over warm water as the calendar turns from Saturday to Sunday. 09W is then forecast to intensify rapidly, passing 131 miles northwest of Kadena at mid-afternoon Sunday and reaching Category 3 equivalent strength, 115 mile per hour sustained winds and 144 mile per hour gusts at center at mid-evening Sun. Though 09W is not forecast to pass right over Okinawa with Category 3 equivalent winds, the island is still going to be in for a rough and rocky Sunday afternoon and evening into Monday. Long-term, once past Okinawa, 09W is forecast to track roughly due north as the week commences, approaching the southern coast of the Korean Peninsula at mid-evening Wednesday, still packing 104 mile per hour sustained winds and 127 mile per hour gust. Naval Base Shini and Daegu Area 4 remain in seasonal Curve 4 for the moment. The ACMWF, UCMN and GFS forecast ensembles still show something of a spread among solutions. That should smooth as 09W continues developing. Stay tuned. Expect this to be updated at about 8 a.m. Saturday. 3:30 p.m. Friday, August 21st, Japan time. Here is the wind forecast timeline for U.S. bases on Okinawa courtesy of Kadena Air Base's 18th Wing Weather Flight. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. At 3 p.m. 90 watts invest has not yet become a tropical cyclone and was 535 miles south-southwest of Kadena Air Base, according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Onset of 35 knot, 40 mile per hour, sustained winds, noon Sunday for Kadena, 11 a.m. elsewhere on island. Onset of 50 knot, 58 mile per hour, sustained destructive winds, 7 p.m. Sunday for Kadena, 6 p.m. elsewhere on Okinawa until 1 p.m. Monday. Reminder that 35 knot winds meet the criteria for Curve 1C, caution, and 50 knots for Curve 1E, emergency. Weather flight also forecasts between 7 to 9 inches of rain associated with 90 watts invest. 3 p.m. Friday, August 21st, Japan time. U.S. bases on Okinawa have entered tropical cyclone condition of readiness 3. Destructive winds of 58 miles per hour or greater are possible within 48 hours. 10 a.m. Friday, August 21st, Japan/Korea time. A tropical cyclone formation alert was issued at 7 a.m. local time on disturbance 90 watts invest by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. At 7 a.m., 90 watts was 638 miles south-southwest of Kadena Air Base, Okinawa, headed due north at 10 miles per hour. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness 4. Kadena's weather forecast calls for winds picking up late Sunday into Monday, peaking Monday afternoon and evening northwest at 20 miles per hour sustained and 32 mile per hour gusts. Showers and thunderstorms are forecast starting Saturday, a 50 to 70% chance through early Monday. There remains something of a spread in solutions, but model track guidance and various forecast ensembles are in general agreement on a track northeast toward Okinawa, then zigging north toward the Korean Peninsula, strengthening as it goes. How strong it might become, and when, is still too soon to say. Once a tropical cyclone does form and they start issuing warnings on it, the picture would come into better focus. Stay tuned. Midnight Thursday, August 20th, Japan/Korea time. While Okinawa can expect a wet, gusty weekend, Kyushu in southwestern Japan and Korea's southeast coast could be in for more of a weather wallop by middle of next week, if forecast models are an indicator regarding 90 watts invest. For now, it's a wait-and-see game. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness 4. Joint Typhoon Warning Center still carries 90 watts as a medium area for development into a tropical cyclone in the next 24 hours. That could be upgraded any time. There remains something of a spread among solutions on 90 watts, but the ACMWF and GFS forecast ensembles are starting to come into better focus regarding where it might go and how strong it might become. Those ensembles' best tracks show a path northeast toward Okinawa, possibly strengthening into a tropical depression or middling tropical storm, then northwest toward Kyushu and Korea, intensifying further on the way. And it could become rather severe by middle of next week. That would come on the heels of Tropical Storm Jangmi, which dumped more rain on an already drenched Korean peninsula, which has endured a record-breaking monsoon season. Much will depend on the short term for 90 watts. It remains quite close to Luzon in the northern Philippines, which could hinder its early development. Once it moves northeast of land and strictly over water, development could begin in earnest. Stay tuned. 8 p.m. Thursday, August 20 Japan time. They're cold spaghetti models by the TV weather guys in the States for a reason. Give 90 watts Invest's model track guidance and the ACHEM-WF and GFS forecast ensembles a gander and you'll see why. Solutions are a bit spread out. At 7:45 p.m., 90 watts was 670 miles south-southwest of Kadena Air Base, Okinawa. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness for. Kadena's extended weather forecast still shows a wet, windy weekend in store for the island. Joint Typhoon Warning Center has upgraded 90 watts to a medium area for development into a tropical cyclone in the next 24 hours. JTWC's latest advisory says it's possible 90 watts could start consolidating and intensifying as it approaches the island. But 90 watts is also grazing the east coast of Luzon in the northern Philippines, and JTWC reports that the close proximity to land could hinder initial development. How strong 90 watts might become? And whether it heads toward Japan or Korea after passing by Okinawa? Way too soon to say. Still a lot of question marks. 90 watts has yet to even become a tropical cyclone. Much can change in the coming hours and days. Stay tuned. 1:30 p.m. Thursday, August 20th, Japan time. Joint Typhoon Warning Center continues to carry 90 watts Invest as a low area for development into a tropical cyclone in the next 24 hours. When or if that might be upgraded is hard to say right now. And what 90 watts might mean for Okinawa is still uncertain, though U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness for, and Kadena Air Base's weather forecast calls for a gusty, rainy Saturday and Sunday. Rain showers and isolated to scattered thunderstorms are forecast, between a 50 and 70% chance, on Saturday and Sunday. Forecast winds start off southerly, up to 14 miles per hour Sunday morning and gusts up to 27 miles per hour Sunday evening, shifting to northwesterly at 14 miles per hour Monday afternoon with 25 mile per hour gusts Monday morning. At 1 p.m. 90 watts was roughly 750 miles south-southwest of Kadena, fairly close to land, just east of Luzon in the northern Philippines, not well organized and struggling to develop. Model track guidance and the ACHEM-WF, GFS and CMC forecast ensembles show quite a bit of spread among solutions, especially long-term, whether it might affect Japan's main islands or Korea. Tough to tell. In the short term regarding Okinawa, what might happen is anybody's guess, though the current forecast does not indicate a typhoon-strength storm for the island. At least not right now. A lot can change with a young developing system. Stay tuned. 11:30 p.m. Wednesday, August 19th, Japan time, still a guessing game about what may become of 90 watts Invest. Will it morph into a tropical cyclone? How soon? How strong might it become? How close might it come to Okinawa? Or perhaps points north in Japan or Korea? Right now, the only thing certain is uncertainty. Joint Typhoon Warning Center 7 p.m. advisory on 90 watts stated it's expected to track northwest in the next 24 hours or so. But track timing and intensity changes remain open to question. JTWC still displays 90 watts Invest as a low area for development into a tropical cyclone in the next 24 hours. It could be upgraded to a medium area or a tropical cyclone formation alert at any point, depending on how it develops. Kadena's weather forecast still calls for showers and thunderstorms developing over the weekend, 40 to 70% chance, increasing Saturday into Sunday. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness for. Model track guidance and the ACHEM-WF and CMC forecast ensembles depict movement toward Okinawa, but solutions regarding intensity and how close it might come vary. The following is not to say what will or won't happen, just a word to the wise about being prepared regardless of what occurs. Especially with us deep into the coronavirus age, it is more important than ever to be ready for whatever happens. Particularly those who come from locales such as Peoria, Illinois or Bozeman, Montana, where typhoons and hurricanes are hardly a bother. Preparation and communication. Pay attention to official information and official forecasts. Ignore the rumor mill. Don't wait for Q1 to get your shopping done. Do it early. Check your closet. What do you have in there to help you get through? Get enough non-perishables, water, food for your furry friends, diapers and wipes for the young guns, to last 3 days. Make sure you have working flashlights and batteries, a portable radio that works with batteries, or a hand crank. Keep it tuned to Wave 89.1 FM, where a steady stream of official information can be found. Pacific Storm Tracker is updated with official information every 6 hours, and as soon as possible when upgraded cures are posted. Get that cleanup around home and office taken care of early. Move loose objects indoors. Typhoon force winds can make even plastic trash can lids dangerous airborne objects. Take down the trampoline, and especially there are enough videos out there of trampolines lodged into transformers, causing power outages. Bicycles and barbecues too. Get them inside. Gas up and visit the ATM to get enough cash and local currency to last 3 days. The power might go out and be off for quite a while. Stay indoors during peak wind periods. Do not go out during Cure 1E. Avoid the temptation to go to the cliffs and watch or take photographs of the breakers. A maverick wave can reach up and pull you in. Even after Cure 1E ends and we enter recovery or storm watch, first responders and staff civil would be out establishing safe zones and clearing out debris, fallen trees and power lines. They need room to work. Give it to them. Point being, you only get one chance. Always better to be safe than sorry. This will be updated at midday Thursday. 7 p.m. Wednesday, August 19 Japan time. Now that Higos is making its way inland over southern China, attention now turns to 90 watts invest, designated a low area for development over the next 24 hours by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Model track guidance. The ECMWF and CMC forecast ensembles suggest a possible track in Okinawa's direction by the weekend or beyond. Way too soon to draw conclusions regarding exact direction and how strong it might become. More will be known in the next couple of days. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness for. At 7 p.m. 90 watts was about 810 miles south of the island. Kadena Air Base's long-range weather forecast calls for showers developing by the weekend, increasing from 40% chance on Saturday to 70% on Sunday. Japanese long-range forecast suggests similar. Stay tuned. 1:20 p.m. Wednesday, August 19th, Hong Kong time. All wind warning signals for Hong Kong have been cancelled. The Hong Kong Observatory reported at 1:20 p.m. barring any changes. This is the final report on Tropical Storm Higos. 11:15 a.m. Wednesday, August 19th, Hong Kong time. With Tropical Storm Higos moving inland, the Hong Kong Observatory has cancelled Storm Signal 8 and reverted to Strong Signal 3 for the city at 11:10 a.m. Once Higos is no longer a threat, HKO stated it plans to cancel all wind signal. 11 a.m. Wednesday, August 19th, Hong Kong time. Southeast Storm Signal 8 remains raised by the Hong Kong Observatory, but not for much longer, as it stated it would raise Strong Signal 3 sometime before noon. Tropical Storm Higos made landfall as Wednesday dawned. Its closest point of approach was 55 miles south of Hong Kong just before dawn, and it peaked at 63 mile-per-hour sustained winds and 81 mile-per-hour gusts as it neared land. At 11 a.m., Higos was 93 miles west of Hong Kong and moving west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. Joint Typhoon Warning Center had Higos still packing 46 mile-per-hour sustained winds and 58 mile-per-hour at a.m. JTWC has issued its final warning on Higos. 10:40 p.m. Tuesday, August 18th, Hong Kong time. Northeast Storm Signal 8 was raised by the Hong Kong Observatory at 10:40 p.m. local time. Signal 8 is expected to remain in force overnight into the morning hours, HKO reports. 10:15 p.m. Tuesday, August 18th, Hong Kong time. Tropical Storm Higos forecast track has lurched closer to Hong Kong, where strong wind signal 3 remains raised, and according to the Hong Kong Observatory, gale/storm signal 8 could be raised before 11 p.m. and 8 p.m. Higos was 94 miles south-southeast of Hong Kong, traveling west-northwest at 9 miles per hour and had strengthened slightly to 52 mile-per-hour sustained winds and 63 mile-per-hour gusts at center. If Higos remains on its present heading, Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecasts it to pass 62 miles south of Hong Kong at about 1 a.m. Higos is forecast to peak at 58 mile-per-hour sustained winds and 75 mile-per-hour gusts at center as it makes landfall at about 8 a.m. Wednesday just southwest of Hong Kong. Wednesday should see heavy winds, sea swells, showers and possible thunderstorms as Higos passes. As for 90 watts invest, many more questions than answers, with the ECMWF, GFS and CMC ensemble still all over the place. Hopefully, more should be known in the next day or so. Stay tuned. 5 p.m. Tuesday, August 18th, Hong Kong time. While Tropical Storm Higos remains forecast to pass south of Hong Kong late Tuesday, a new disturbance, 90 watts invest, could be of concern for folks on Okinawa this coming weekend. At 5:30 p.m. Japan time, 90 watts was about 1,185 miles south-southeast of Kadena Air Base. Model track guidance and the ECMWF, GFS and CMC forecast ensembles are pretty much all over the lot at this point. It's early yet. Much can change. Windfinder.com based on the GFS model, does indicate elevated winds and gusts with plenty of rain for Okinawa and mid-afternoon Sunday. Bears watching to see what develops, if anything. In the meantime, U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness for. As for Higos, at 2 p.m. Hong Kong time, it was 148 miles southeast of Hong Kong, moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour and had strengthened to 46 mile per hour sustained winds and 58 mile per hour gusts. Strong wind signal 3 has been raised for the city, and the Hong Kong Observatory said it will consider issuing storm signal 8 between 10 p.m. and midnight, should conditions warrant. If Higos remains on its current track, it's forecast by Joint Typhoon Warning Center to pass 88 miles south of Hong Kong at about 11 p.m. JTWC's forecast 34 knot, 39 mile per hour, wind bands are facing toward the north and east, closer to Hong Kong. The storm has been named Higos by the Japan Meteorological Agency. Higos is a name contributed by Guam, a Chamorro word for figure 11 a.m. Tuesday, August 18th, Hong Kong time. Standby signal 1 has been raised by the Hong Kong Observatory in advance of Tropical Depression 08W. HKO also stated it will consider raising strong wind signal 3 by mid-afternoon. At 11 a.m., 08W was about 200 miles southeast of Hong Kong. Joint Typhoon Warning Center 8 a.m. projected 08W moving west-northwest at 15 miles per hour with 35 mile per hour sustained winds and 46 mile per hour gusts. JTWC forecasts 08W to intensify into a tropical storm by mid-evening Tuesday, passing 92 miles south of Hong Kong at about 11 p.m. with winds forecast to be 46 mile per hour sustained and 58 mile per hour gusts center. 08W is forecast to peak at mid-morning Wednesday at 52 mile per hour sustained winds and 63 mile per hour gusts center just before making landfall near Yangjiang in southern China. 1 p.m. Monday, August 17th, Hong Kong time, a tropical cyclone formation alert has been issued for disturbance 99 watts invest by Joint Typhoon Warning Center. No warning signals have been issued as yet by the Hong Kong Observatory or the Philippines National Weather Authority PAGASA, though that could change in short order depending on how quickly 99 watts develops and how strong it becomes initially. Model track guidance and the GFS and CMC forecast ensembles all indicate general west-northwest movement, south and west of Hong Kong, toward southern China in the next 3 to 4 days, possibly reaching moderate tropical storm strength. All this could change. It's early yet. 6 p.m. Sunday, August 16th, Japan time, a new disturbance has formed just east of Luzon, the Philippines' northernmost main island, labeled 99 watts invest. Initial model track guidance and the Global Forecast System's initial forecast ensemble depicts 99 watts tracking west-northwest toward southern China, just west of Hong Kong, about 4 days out. The disturbance was 680 miles south-southwest of Okinawa at 5:45 p.m., but the island appears to be out of harm's way given the initial model solutions. U.S. bases on Okinawa remain in seasonal tropical cyclone condition of readiness for.